speeding toward the championship finale in Las Vegas, the stars of the Eyes on IndyCar Series must first stop at Kentucky Speedway. After a summer stretch on road and street courses, Will Power having won at Sonoma.
Power will net 21 points on the championship leader. Twin checkers are out. What a drive for Will Power.
Has overcome a 62-point deficit to claim top step on the championship ladder. But with 2 oval track races remaining, can the road course champion hold on to the lead? Can last year's champion Dario Franchitti come back from his Motegi mistake? The only way is to stay flat out. Here is the Mother's Polish starting grid for today's race. Will Power and Graham Rahal occupy the front row, with Power the only driver in excess of 219 miles an hour during his qualifying run. James Hinchcliffe, a rookie in the series, starts third alongside Ed Carpenter, who's finished second here the last 2 times he's competed. Hildebrand and Marco Andretti will occupy row number 3. In the 4th row, it's Scott Dixon and Ryan Hunter-Reay. Oriol Survey and Charlie Kimball occupy the 5th row. In the 6th row, it's Dario Franchitti and Mike Conway. Franchitti starting in 11th. In the next row, the 7th row, Simona De Silvestro and Danica Patrick. Wade Cunningham and Elio Castroneves will be in the next row. Then Buddy Rice and Ryan Briscoe. Tony Kanaan and Anna Beatrice in row number 10. The 11th row, Vitor Meira and Takuma Sato. Then E.J. Viso and Alex Lloyd. Dylan Battistini, making his first start in the series, will start 25th. Townsend Bell 26th. James Jakes and Dan Weldon back in these 27th and 28th positions. And Pippa Mann, who crashed during her qualifying run, or warming up for her qualifying run yesterday, will start in the 29th position. All right, let's talk about strategy.
Well, the Sunoco pit strategy this week is good news. Anytime you see the pit windows, in fact, there are 3. You can see the 41 to 52, the 94 to 105, and the 147 to 58. Those numbers are wide. That's what you want. And of course, Lindy, if you're somebody like Dan Weldon starting at the back, maybe a time to try some different strategy.
Yeah, he's starting 28th and has to start last in Vegas. This is like a dry run for you. How do you play the strategy starting from the back?
Wow, the strategy is really a function of how good the race car is. If you've got a good race car, you can go to the front around these tracks, no problem. So we think the Bowers and Wilkins car is pretty good today, and as you say, it's great practice for Vegas.
Green. We're racing at Kentucky Speedway. You'll see 2 and 3 wide racing on this racetrack. It's been very competitive in the years past. We hope we have a similar race here today. 3 wide going into turn number 3 on the very first lap.
Marco Andretti, red and black at the very top of the screen, immediately started going high. He's right behind the yellow car of Ed Carpenter. And Graham Rahal said he was going to make it tough on Will Power. So far, he falls behind. Carpenter on the high side, on board with Hildebrand.
Power leads Graham Rahal down the backstretch. Great battle for 3rd place.
Yeah, this is a racetrack you're going to hear the spotters all day long in your ears.
Battle for 4th place. James Hinchcliffe is up there contesting with Graham Rahal, running right behind him. There's Rahal to the inside and Hinchcliffe to the outside. Back of them, J.R. Hildebrand and Ed Carpenter.
They were telling Graham Rahal, as they tell others which gear to choose, you have a choice of 5th or 6th gear. They told Graham, stay with Power, draft with him. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm flat out. The guy's driving away from me. But what a great side-by-side battle here.
We saw in practice yesterday, J.R. Hildebrand and Elio Castroneves run this way for many, many laps.
Clear now, clear.
There's Marco Andretti, who now comes up to say to Ed Carpenter that, hey, I'm right here, and so is Scott Dixon.
Look at him on the low side, though. Scott Dixon taking the shorter way around.
And that...
You're clear by, you and Hitch are clear by 10 to the rest of the pack.
And that is the best way around here. I mean, watching everybody practice so far, you really want to be down on the bottom, right on the yellow line. You want to let those guys, if somebody's going to pass you, let them work on the high side. You see Carpenter's been working on Hildebrand for lap after lap after lap. The toe or the draft really comes into play here. Marty.
Right behind him.
riding along with Scott Dixon. His teammate Dario Franchitti is right behind him in the black and aqua car. The one thing Dario told me he thought would happen early in the race today is that a pack would take off from the rest of the field. That's exactly what's happening right now. And the problem for Dario, he's trying to hang on to that pack as best he can. He said, I can't let that pack get away from him. And you see the battle up front as well, guys.
The driver who has made the most noise in the first few laps, Townsend Bell, who's gained 11 positions, started 26th. He's now 15th. Ryan Briscoe has gained 7. Dan Weldon.
Give me a little bit of a warning, gone down to 1. But hold your line when you pick a line going into 1.
Weldon has moved up 5 positions since the drop of the green flag. Here are Ganassi cars as Scott Dixon goes to the inside of teammate Dario Franchitti. This is the 8th and 9th positions. Aqua and black on the Downey sponsored car of Dario Franchitti this weekend.
Still there. Still inside, just on your corner. Clear by about a half.
Anymore.
Still there. Still there. Just clear.
Chip Ganassi Racing has all 4 cars in the top 10 here early going.
Dixon may have probably cut him a little bit of slack there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I felt it was engine losing power. Just spoke with Roger, one of the guys from Honda, and he basically said there was a water leak, and we just lost water. And then when you lose water, and basically now I think we ended up dropping 1 cylinder. So it's a shame because the car was really looking good, man. I was very excited out there, and just making some adjustments in the car. The weather's awesome because the temperature of the tires, it's really good. So it's just a shame, but it's been a long time. Honda's doing a great job. It's just a shame that we have that.
Everything trying to get the car off pit road as well because pit stops are beginning here, Bob.
And Weldon, one of the first to come in. Also, Marco Andretti is on pit lane. He was running in the top 5 when he decided to come in for a pit stop. We're almost at the 1/4 mark of this race already. Tony Kanaan has service completed on his Geico-sponsored car, and away he goes.
Added front wing to Tony Kanaan. Marco Andretti sliding out. And our leader, Will Power. Now look, he has... I was just going to say, he does not have a preferred spot. Kevin?
It's Anna Beatrice. Anna Beatrice makes contact. Power is in it. They're going ahead with the tire change. Let's see if they have an issue. They're checking the left side of the car. Power is going to be sent away, but he lost a lot of position on pit road, and he's got traffic to deal with on exit.
Wow, Kevin, I was just halfway through the sentence saying that because of his qualifying in Loudon, he did not have a preferred pit spot, and there was definite contact there. They didn't obviously appear to make any repairs. Wow, what a moment for Power.
That is how championships are won and lost. Front nose replaced on the Anna Beatrice car. Dario Franchitti, meanwhile, comes in for his first stop. Marty.
For you down here. You're going to have an easy in. Wide open on the way in. Keep the revs up on the stop.
Yeah, Bob, the Ganassi cars have not quite made the progress they thought they would. Dario Franchitti started 11th, kind of hung around 9th and 10th with his teammate Scott Dixon, but he's fairly happy with the car. They will make air pressure adjustments, trying to get the car to be a little bit better, especially at the end of the run. They will send the pit road a little bit longer of a stop than this team would have liked, though.
Go.
There's the narrow exit of the pits that Wally talked about. And on cold tires, that could be a problem. So far, okay. Dario gets back up to speed from his first pit stop.
Wow.
Well, because of that, Will Power now runs in 9th position, and the points lead goes back to Franchitti by 14 over Will.
They think they avoided major catastrophe because the contact came just above the winglet. They don't think there's any damage with the radiator. It's bodywork issue, but Will Power has not been talking on the radio. They're still not certain how the car is handling. As you mentioned, he's lost some time on track. He's not as quick as he was before. Remember the last time he had contact on pit road in Iowa, the car didn't handle the way it did before, and that's one of the reasons why he eventually put it in the wall.
J.R. Hildebrand running second on board with Scott Dixon. Hildebrand is right there on the rear wing and the gearbox of the leader, Dario Franchitti.
And it's amazing how one race, the way that they choose the pit positions, can make such a difference. You think back to Loudon and that it wasn't a good qualifying run. That's where it comes from, not the race finish, but qualifying. Will Power doesn't qualify well. He's in the middle of the pits. Dario does.
No idea where he's going to go.
So Dario saves fuel, takes the advantage, gets a quick pit stop, and as Robin just said, everything came unraveled for Will Power. Just shocking how fast that could change. It looked like he was just driving away. There is, in fact, the debris. So it wasn't a mystery caution. It was, in fact, something, because that...
Yellow for debris on the backstretch.
That could definitely cut a tire. You need to go down yellow for that. That is in the racing line. But what I was saying, and Alex, you and I talked about it a little bit during the break, they expected Will Power to be out front. You put a downforce level thinking you're not going to have to run in traffic. Now he's stuck in the middle, and he's in trouble.
That's correct. I mean, that's the perfect strategy when you start up front. And it's probably also what Dario is running, because you know, on the first segment, he was not running very well. It seems like he was just buying his time in 10th place. And then he's running up front, almost uncatchable. So it looks like those two guys chose to setups that they can make them run up front.
A reminder, everybody, all pit stops are off of turn 4.
18 cars are on the lead lap here at our first caution.
Pits are open. Pits are open. Pit off of turn 4.
Race average 211, and going down at one point it was 217 there before we had the series of pit stops. So still a quick pace, although it's going down because of this caution.
Bob, you heard Dario say he's coming in. Expect almost everyone to stop. You always stop under caution, especially a track like this, because you lose more than a lap if you tried it under green. Maybe someone like Vitor Mira might stay out, who's trying to get a lap back. Otherwise, hit the pits.
All right, pit stops underway. Here's Kevin Lee.
Will Power needed this yellow because they need to make some changes. There's a big hole on the left side of the side pod, so they've got a great big piece of tape. They're going to try to stabilize the car as much as they can. Power at 60 miles an hour. Sharp left-hand turn will get around James Jenks through. He will take 4 Firestone tires and Sunoco ethanol, and he'll make the changes, Marty.
Scott Dixon in the middle of your screen. You saw a wing adjustment, also an air pressure adjustment. He said he feels like he's sliding both ends of the car. His teammate Dario Franchitti will easily win the race off pit road. They come out 1-2. No changes for Franchitti. Few changes for Dixon. Kevin?
Still working on the side pod. They put one piece of tape down, another piece of tape. I heard Tim Cindric right before Power came in telling the crew this is a big hole. They have patched up the best they can. And there is fuel leaking out of the back of the car. There was something, it looked a little bit more than you normally see when a car peels off a pit road. So hopefully for the 12 team, that's not an issue.
Wow, how this championship has gone back and forth.